Hey guys, welcome back. So I decided to upgrade my PC case for reasons, and I ended up settling on the Jonsbo D31 Mesh. Let's unbox it quick and take a look. This case does have a tempered glass side panel, a full mesh top, a full mesh front with your standard extra ports, and this. Yes, that is an LCD screen, 1280 by 800 8-inch display. On the back, there's a place for a 120mm fan, and this case can accommodate Mini ITX or Micro ATX motherboards. The top mesh is held on with a couple of captured thumb screws, very nice, and underneath we can see that it can hold 3 120 or 140mm fans or up to a 360mm radiator. There's no thumb screws on the sides, the glass just pops off and lifts up. And the bottom of the case has provisions for 3 more 120mm fans or another 360mm radiator, and it has a full removable dust filter underneath. The power supply bracket's adjustable to accommodate larger GPUs, and here's the bag of goodies. The power pass-through cable is already routed to the front as well. There's a removable panel here to hide all the cables from the PSU, and the front mesh is easily removable as well. On the back is mounting for two 2.5-inch drives, also with captured thumb screws, and this large cutout for accessing the back of the motherboard. Cable management seems to be well planned with this nice channel for routing all your cables into. Oh, and did I mention the LCD is removable? I found the instructions if we need them. We also have more accessories for the screen, including a USB power cable, an HDMI cable, and a mesh panel to replace it when used unattached. Alright, this is my old case. It's a Metallicgear Neo Mini V2 that I custom powder coated. The white was originally silver. My issue now is my GPU is too big. As you can see, it's almost touching the bottom of the case. Also, there's no room to mount fans in the front, and the side fans are mounted as high as they can go with no room for a radiator. On the back, there was a decent amount of room for cable management with a dedicated spot for all the extra PSU cables and just enough room here to tuck all the rest. I even had room for my PWM fan hubs. My Razer RGB hub is mounted to the top of the case out of sight. Two 2.5 drives mount on this removable panel. The thumb screw is not captured, and the cutout for the motherboard covers the top screws for the CPU backplate. Looking at the front, you can see 2 fans would be ideal, but will only work with a smaller GPU. I think this Red Devil is like 320mm in length. Okay, the case is all stripped. I'm going to set it aside for something a little later on. And here are all the parts to go into the new case. The motherboard is a Gigabyte B550i Aorus Pro AX Mini ITX board with a Ryzen 5800X CPU. 32 gigs of Team Group T-Force Extreme DDR4 4000. That's a nice kit of RAM. The GPU is a PowerColor Red Devil 6700 XT and the Razer Chroma RGB hub. The PSU is an Enermax 800 watt unit, and my nemesis, the Enermax 240mm AIO, freshly douched again. The 3 fans for the bottom of the case are Zalman ZM LF120 120mm RGB fans. There's also, I think, 1TB NVMe drive as well. Well, I think it's time to start getting everything installed. This panel is removable and allows easier access to the power supply bracket. Remove 2 screws in the front and it lifts right out. With the power supply installed, there's still plenty of clearance above and below, but if you need a little more, it is adjustable. There are 4 different heights in which it can be installed. And the pass-through cable just tucks away nice and neat above it. Okay, made some more progress. Motherboard, radiator, and the bottom fans are all in. The GPU is installed and there's a lot of clearance now, and it sits above the bottom of the case fan, so plenty of fresh air to feed it. The only negative so far is this cutout here. The cable can't be passed through it because the side panel will be bulged out. Also, if I ran them through there, they would be pinched on the edge of the metal around that opening. The back is a different story. Cable management is excellent. I'm just about done, with the exception of a couple more cables to secure, and there's plenty of room. I even had space to mount both fan hubs. The cutout is also way better. It gives access to almost the entire rear of the motherboard, even if it were a Micro ATX. It would be nice, however, to run cables through here, but this edge would not be good for them. Last two cables, the USB power cable and the HDMI cable for the front LCD. They pass through here and they get routed up and over to the back of the LCD. Makes for a very clean install. Alright, first test of the LCD. I already see I need to make an adjustment to the orientation. The only setting I needed to change was the orientation. Alright, everything has now been set up. I'm just working on my RGB setup with Signal RGB, and yeah, despite being a little larger than my Metallicgear case, I do really like it. The more light that comes through the bottom means that much more airflow, I suppose. And with the mesh front and top, I think this case will breathe quite well. So what can you do with a built-in LCD? Anything you want, I guess. Here's a few ideas.